it's really a group of people who come together to practice the art of mindfulness. Mindfulness is really a sort of a spiritual practice, not affiliated with any religion, but with its origins in Buddhism. And it is really to concentrate, coming back into the present moment, not to think about the past too much, not to dwell on the past and mistakes or heartbreak or things that may not have gone right, and try not to worry too much about the future. And the benefits of being mindful, whether you're brushing your teeth or in the shower or driving your car or talking to your friends, is really, really positive for your mental health.
I kind of started practicing yoga a good few years ago now, and it's brought me to a place where I can come into the city centre and sit in moments like this and not be concerned that round the corner there can be mayhem happening. I think it's important that a few people more get to know about what it's like to even love yourself first, to then be able to love the people who sit around and beside you. As far as I'm aware, it's a mindfulness event, a meditation within the City Hall. I found out about it. I go to yoga classes quite a lot with a company called Up Belfast, and my instructor had informed me about it on Facebook. So I thought, yeah, that's great, I'll come on down.
We bring our full attention to that which is within and around us. We let our mind become spacious. Well, we really want to take the message of mindfulness to the heart of the city. The tradition comes from a Zen Buddhist monk called Thich Nhat Hanh, and he really is an advocate, a global advocate for the practice of mindfulness. And he was in Ireland in 2012 for 2 weeks. He came to Stormont and he spoke to the politicians in the Senate chamber. And he really made an offer at that time to show the benefits of the practice of mindfulness with society in Northern Ireland. So that offer was to continue the work of mindful practice across Northern Ireland, and Wake Up Belfast is engaged in what we would call applied ethics, so activities like today where we come together and we practice. Which is within and around us. You know, Belfast is now becoming, which is fantastic, a really multicultural city. So we've, never in my time, when I've lived here for a long time, do we have Islamic centres and mosques. We've got people from North Africa, we've got people from all over Europe. And it's great, so people are bringing their own traditions and their own religions. The benefit of mindfulness is that it's secular, it can be applied in a secular manner. So it may have its origins in Buddhism, and that's valid, but it also, if you go back to sort of Celtic Christianity, there was a mystical aspect to the practice of that where monks may have taken themselves to hermitages and they were very much in line with nature as the changing of the seasons. Mindfulness is very much about being present to the different changes in nature. So it can be applied secularly and is being applied all over the world in secular formats, in places like schools, primary schools, secondary schools, prisons where there's maybe people that have a lot of suffering. So it's a practice that can help transform a lot of suffering and hurt. It's also used in mental health. The NHS, our own NHS service, is applying these techniques to help people with anxiety, depression, all sorts of different myriad of mental health issues.
I think it's just in the busyness of the middle of the city. It's quite an iconic building. I've been in here with my father to see the Christmas tree and all of that. I got married in here, and I just thought, what a better way to spend a Saturday afternoon than in here and thinking about the present moment and not about what else is going on around.
All too often we're in modern life, everybody's rushing, and it's just the nature of modern life in this part of the world. You know, we all have responsibilities, be they family or work or both. So we may be running from one appointment to the next. We may be running to pick up kids from school or to drop them off in the morning. With 101 different things running through our minds, we could be planning our holidays, but we could also be worrying about finances. What we don't really do too often is to stop. So what we did today was an invitation, a practice to stop. And it's really to stop, and the practice focuses on the breath, so our in-breath and our out-breath. And it really is just to settle into the present moment. And it's very beneficial, because what happens if you take a a jar of muddy water and you were to shake that up really, really quickly, it would be quite murky. And you can think of that as our mind normally, lots of things going through the water. But if you set it quietly on a windowsill and let it settle, that water will clear and all the sediment, all the mud, all the dirt will settle to the bottom. So if we sometimes take an opportunity to stop and to come back to our breath and to just be in the present moment, our minds can be like that jar of muddy water, it settles. The benefits of the practice of mindfulness. Now, it's not something that we're on an evangelical mission to do, it's sharing. And we've done these events over the last number of years, meditation flash mobs, so a gathering of people on a location that may not be associated with the activity, so in this case, mindfulness meditation. So we've been very lucky to do it for the last 2 years on the steps of St Anne's Cathedral on one of the busiest nights in Belfast. Culture Night, and we'll hopefully be back there on that location this year in Culture Night. We've done these in Botanic Gardens quite often when the weather's nice, and when we practice mindful walking, which is just being mindful of our steps as we walk and smiling, hopefully looking at the sun and the blue sky. So we'll be offering this invitation to stop, to breathe, to smile, to come back to the present moment to anybody who wishes to do it.
Because the topic was all about love and it's all been about Valentine's weekend, and there's a whole lot of being mindful and good to yourself, so I take away from it a wee bit of a better feeling about myself, a better feeling about who sits beside me, about who is in the building, and a better feeling that there are people within Belfast who are keen to share that similar feeling.
So we have the Facebook page, which is the norm, and it's Wake Up Belfast. We're also on Twitter at Wake Up Belfast, and we have a little website, wakeupbelfastwordpress.com. There's also an organisation called Mindfulness Ireland, which is a sort of an umbrella group for mindfulness practices across the island, and all information is on that also.